This is our Tinder section. I want to show you different ways of getting tinder bundle made to catch or fire. You know, remember we talked about how to do matchless fires in stages. And there are many things that you can use out there in Mother Nature to actually build a tinder bundle. And what you're trying to do is make some really small, like almost hair even. And one of the easiest ways is just a piece of cedar. And you can take cedar bark, you can fray it up, and that makes a really nice tinder bundle. It'll catch very nicely. Make a bundle like that. Sometimes you can find dead trees. These are the aspen type trees here. And when they're dead and the bark's just about ready to fall off, the inside layer, which cedar does that as well, will end up making really good fiber. And you notice how this is fraying apart, and what you'd end up doing with this is kind of, you can even cut it off there. And then you tear these apart like this. Make sure they're dry. If they're not, you got to set them in the sun. And then you can roll them in your hands. It'll help bring them down to a really small fiber. You keep rolling that. And that could work pretty good for a tinder bundle. There are times when you can use a pounding technique. Now this is right here is the oak bark. And you get oak bark and you got the crusty outside, and then you got this campion layer on the inside, this layer here. And that layer you can actually use a pounding technique. You know, right now that's not a really good tinder bundle, but you can actually take and pound it and separate those fibers. Do it like this. And as you can see, it will separate the fibers, and then you can pull those apart, and you can roll those with your hands, and this is what you make. And that's a pretty good tinder bundle as well. And so that's another way of making tinder. We talked about doing a matchless fire in stages, and a lot of times your tinder bundle will be your second stage. You're going to end up catching your flame or your sun or anything with something else. This is char cloth. You go over, we're in Fire Series, we'll have a link where you can actually see how we make this char cloth. This is actually a cotton cloth. This is what the mountain men used to use. It's a cotton cloth that we end up burning it, but we starve it for oxygen as we do that. And then it turns out this is my first choice for catching sparks. That's a very good thing to use. The mountain men used to use the char cloth and the flint and steel. And I'll show you a flint and steel on the other section there. So we're talking about that. Now, char cloth would be used for a first stage. You know, we're going to catch the spark with that. And if we're in a survival situation, we may not have char cloth. And you got to have a fire in order to make char cloth. So is there things that are out there in Mother Nature that we can use in place of the char cloth? And the answer is yes. There are two fungi that grow. It's very helpful. This one right here is called the horse's hoof fungus. And this fungus here, you'll notice that this is the part that grows to the tree. And this is the bottom part. And then on top we got this really crusty layer. And this crusty layer, once we cut that away, we find this really soft chamois type layer. See how that, with just my fingernail, and once it's dried, I can fray that up. And that is an excellent tinder as well for even catching spark. And that works pretty good on that stuff. And that little layer, you know, is usually not very thick. As you can see here, that it's only about that thick. And what I've done here is I've actually cut away the crusty surface, and I've cut away the underneath part. And this is the good stuff right here. And this is what you'd use. Now, this works pretty good too. If you can find some that's a little more flexible, we'll let him zoom in on this. If I tear it, a lot of times it will tear apart with a frayed end. See how that looks like frayed end there. And those are really good. You can use that the same way you would use charcoal, flint and steel fire. These would catch sparks quite well. Okay. You can use this in solar as well. It'll catch the rays of the sun and do pretty good. My actual favorite for solar is another fungi. And this here grows on white birch. And when you look at it, and we'll show you how to go harvest this here on this section here in Tinder. We'll go harvest some of this, but when you see it, it's going to look all black like that. It looks charred. And that's just the way it grows. Now the good stuff that we're going to use is on the inside, and it's this light brown stuff. And if you go over to the solar section, you'll see I light several of these chunks of chaga and get them going with the sun in different ways. And so this is the sweet stuff here. And so we'll show you how to get a hold of that. And there are other things you can use as well. A lot of times these will be a second stage that you'll have to go into a third stage as well. This is a thistle top here. Any plant that makes these fuzzy things, you can use the fuzzy things and they'll catch spark really well. Everybody's familiar with the milkweed, and that works pretty well as well. And a lot of times though, they go really fast, so when they catch, they burn quick. You got to have a third stage to go with it. I want to show you, you know, it's good to go out and actually make tinder bundles so that you can learn how to do it. But and that's good to practice those. But a lot of times you want to practice your fire. And if you just want to practice your fire, I did a demonstration. I was teaching up at a camp one time, and I did 27 fires in one day. Well, if I had to go out and find 27 tinder bundles, it would take me a lot of hours just to do that. And so if you want to practice your fire, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to your hobby store, and you're going to go to their macrame section. And this is macrame rope here. Macrame rope is jute, which is a plant fiber. And so it behaves itself just like all this other stuff that you're going to find out there. And so if you want to practice your fires, this is the way to do it. Go get some macrame rope, and then I usually cut it into lengths 6 to 8 inches or so. And then, like we mentioned in our talk on fires themselves, you want a lot of edges. And so I go ahead and separate these down to the smaller parts here. And then I roll those so that they open up. And then I usually give them just a little tug. And then I can fray those into what looks like a hairball. Okay, so we gotta fray those up like that. Now when I get that whole piece done, this is what it's going to look like here. And I use these to practice my fire. I use these to demonstrate. And so these are pretty good little pieces here. You can use that. Okay. Usually what I do with the chaga is I'll harvest a bunch, and then I'll just get some of the best stuff, and I'll throw it in a bag, and then I have that ready to go. And so what we want to do now is actually go and show you how to harvest the chaga, and then we'll also show you one of the ways that I found easiest to get these as well, these horse fungus. So I'll go ahead and do that.